What's up, everyone? All right, how you doing? Candy Fazoli's, how you doing? All right, today I'm gonna be talking about the story of Brock Lesnar and Undertaker in 2002. No Mercy, just that whole little time period heading into their match, which was the Hell in a Cell match. So, starting off, Brock Lesnar. He's having an interview backstage with Funaki, SmackDown #1 announcer. Funaki is very scared. Brock, very stale delivery. You could tell it was very early in Brock's run. Great look, I wrote down. Crazy, only he's been in WWE for 6 months, which, yeah, he debuted after WrestleMania 18. He debuted and he's only been in the company for 6 months, and he seemed like he'd been there forever. Uh, it was said to be Brock Lesnar at Unforgiven was to be bloodied. First time in WWE, thrown through Unforgiven sign. And then it cuts to Brock Lesnar's heading out to the ring, and Taz and Cole go on to the Cole still. I wrote. Sorry, these are all my notes. I'm sorry if it's all clustered. Cole still sounds like a virgin. Taz was beginning to be a good commentator. Paul Heyman was called a miserable slime. Taz says it's a shame he's from New York, talking about Heyman. Cole and Taz keep blowing Brock. They say that he's the most talented and athletic champion ever. Uh, Funaki hoping to get the scoop, he says. ECW chants go out. Funaki basically starts hitting Brock in the corner, and then Brock shoves him to the corner, and he goes back and does some clothesline shit. I don't know. He basically just tears his head off. Pump handle slam, and then I wrote down Funaki's either wearing Jordans or and ones. I don't know if they're the Cherry 12s or if they're and ones from Walmart. I cannot tell. Brock throws Funaki halfway across the ring. Uh, Heyman's gloating about his client. Then they're going on to say, will Brock give Undertaker a rematch? We don't know. Lesnar is damn near unstoppable at this point, just going through everybody. Lesnar and Heyman are out of control, the commentary is going on to say. Called the most dominant champion in WWE history. And I wrote down around this time that, The Rock and Stone Cold were out of the company, so they had to put their chips behind somebody, and obviously it was going to be Lesnar. I mean, you could see in the corner, or LBW, they had, at the same time, Cena, Orton, Batista. But yeah, at the time, Lesnar was ready to go just from day one for whatever reason. I don't know. I mean, I believe also probably Cena was ready to go the quickest. I mean, uh, it took Batista a few years to sizzle. Same with even it took Orton a couple years to sizzle. Orton, I mean, Cena it took about a year, 6 months too. Took him some time, but Brock just like from right off the rip, he just came in and he was just already damn near top of the top. Next, it goes to Taker versus Matt Hardy. And Lesnar out of nowhere, title to the head, he comes into the ring. Taker busted open at the hands of Lesnar. Taker literally a stuffed pig. I wrote, God damn. And I wrote, it's so dirty I wouldn't want scars on my face. Especially, I mean, I already have scars on my face alone. Don't need to get into that shit. But it was just so great for wrestling back in the day when they would bleed all the time. Next, backstage to my childhood TV, I wrote 20-inch with a VCR. Heyman says that you gotta give Taker a rematch, Brock, and not just any kind of rematch. And Matt Hardy comes in the frame, just saying a bunch of shit, just saying a bunch of dumb shit. I wrote, looking back, you can just tell that Brock was a badass. I wrote, and only there for the money, which yeah, you could just tell. I don't know if he's just really into his heel character or that was Brock in general, which we come to learn that Brock is a asshole, but I don't know. I could just tell. Whatever, maybe just hindsight. Taker and Lesnar start fighting against some cages. I guess that's subliminal of what's coming forward. F5 on popcorn, I wrote. AMC. And I wrote, don't know why they're pushing Matt Hardy, because not a lot, but a few times in this angle, Matt Hardy just comes into play, just trying to get the rub off Lesnar. I mean, I thought they had bigger heels on SmackDown Fall, though, too, than Matt Hardy. Maybe not. Maybe they're trying to push Matt Hardy just to shove something to Jeff, because Jeff was kind of getting in trouble at that point. I don't know. WWE games, politics. Uh, then it's a pipe to Taker's hand. He's screaming. Just, ah, ah. I mean, I don't do it justice, but it's a little redneck scream. Then the little dorky SmackDown commentator, he's interviewing a trainer, which they never do that shit anymore. And he says that he's hoping to get Undertaker to get some scans or whatever the fuck. Matt Hardy's backstage he's in a little backstage segment with Lesnar and Heyman, and he's basically saying how he thinks how he should be number one contender. Then he walks out of frame. It was stupid, and Lesnar is just an animal, I wrote, and Lesnar just goes, oh, he's stupid, or whatever. Then it cuts to Stephanie looking yummy, I wrote, and I mean yummy. Steph says it's going to be a hell in a cell between the two. And that cuts to the end of that episode. The next episode, Taker's in the cast at the beginning in a parking garage. Next, cut to Hardy in the ring with a mic. Taker heads out. Hardy and Taker go at it. It feels like Hardy was over pushed, which I wrote, which I already got into. Basically, I'm thinking Jeff was always better. And it's not just because he did all the flips and did all the stunts, which that was a part of the reason, don't lie. But also, just Jeff had more charisma than Matt. And Jeff wasn't great on the microphone. If anything, Matt was better on the microphone and a better technician. But Jeff just had more charisma. This was cooler. Hardy and Taker go at it. Then Hardy busted open. I just wrote Blood Weekly on SmackDown. The crowd was just better, I wrote. They actually just cared. They actually just cheered. Next, I see a lady in a Drew Bledsoe 96 Patriots jersey, so that'll let you know what kind of time we're in. Or in 02. I guess that 96 to 02 wasn't that far off in grand scheme of things. Hardy looks like CZW up the ramp, just all bloody and shit. Then it cuts to Taker jacked in a training room, I wrote. Then some new hottie comes along, and her name is Tracy with, I wrote, big tits, which this chick, you gotta go back. I mean, maybe second to, like, Tori Wilson, but this chick was hot as hell. I know she was only there for a cup of coffee, but hot as fuck, big tits. I mean, just hot for 2002. She had no legs, no ass, but just nice double D tits. Pretty face. Taker's music comes out. Taker mechanic. He's dressed like shit. Next, bad soap opera shit comes off. Says the chick says Taker has been lying to her for the last 3 months, and that basically he's been banging her behind his wife's back. Saying that she's Taker's ex. Brock, you suck chant starts. Then I just wrote this is just a rip-off ECW angle, which it was. You could just tell. Just this shit just rings Paul Heyman, just rip-off shit. But goddamn, that chick, like I just said, that Tracy chick, she's hot as hell. Just, you need to go back and look her up. I don't think she even got a last name, but just Tracy 2002, just damn, she's hot as hell. Then I wrote, I wonder what Vince thought of this shit. Double D's. Then Stephanie, backstage, I wrote she was also beautiful, which at this time, Stephanie was very beautiful at this time in 2002. Just, she was gorgeous, stunning. Steph makes some lame tag match, bad acting backstage, and I wrote, but at least there was a story, which that was the thing, which all this, I'm saying bad soap opera, bad this, bad that, but at least there was a story heading into the match. Nowadays, it's just, okay, we're headed to the match, maybe a couple promos back and forth, and that's it. Just, they put more effort into the shit back then. Then we next get a TNA camera, which I don't even think they do anymore in WWE, which I don't think they've done even in a long time. which I don't remember them even doing back then. Just basically an angle camera, a hidden camera, looking backstage, and Taker's on the camera talking to Sarah, saying, "No, we're heading into we're heading into Hell in a Cell. They're just playing games with me." Then it cuts to Brock and Heyman going to the ring, and Brock says, turns to Heyman and says, "Give me your phone. Give me your phone." Pulls out a flip phone, not an iPhone 12, flip phone. Then he calls Sarah, says some shit, whatever. And then it cuts to Mysterio and Edge, and I wrote, great and underrated tag team, which looking back, two Hall of Famers at the time, but they were a great tag team. They were. They're only together for a cup of coffee, but they're a good tag team. F5 to Mysterio. Basically, Lesnar hits the ring and wreaks havoc. Taker then comes out. Some good shit. Back and forth. Wrestle, wrestle, wrestle. I wrote back then it was episodic, not just some cold BS, which I just said. Which I know the story is shit and it's so lame, but at least there was something. At least they tried. At least there was some kind of angle. Nowadays, I keep saying the same thing, but it's just so lame. Next, Taker in a hood. Taker in a black hood. Just saying how he knew her back in the day, and I wrote Big Evil was so lame, which I like Big Evil as a kid, but looking back as an adult, yeah, it wasn't Taker. It was just so fucking lame. You couldn't get behind it. But Taker really wasn't a bad promo as Mean Mark. He's a better promo as Mean Mark than he is as Taker, if that makes any sense. Then Brock busted open, just busted open every day. They're really playing to Taker's cast. Then it cuts to Steph and Heyman in office. I wrote Steph looks yummy, LOL, and purple turtleneck, and she had big tits, and she did look very yummy at this point. Paul Heyman had a great performance backstage, and he always just emphasized every word. I wrote, damn, Steph was sexy. I'd love to hit that shit, which is, I also am thinking at the time, like, no wonder why Triple H stayed with her and fucking locked that shit down. She was sexy as fuck. I'd be hitting that shit. Then Lesnar backs Stephanie in a corner when they go back. They hit a lot of back and forth, but next it's Heyman, Lesnar, and Stephanie in a ring, and basically Lesnar starts backing in Stephanie into a corner for like a few minutes, and then Taker hits the ring, and basically the commentators are saying, "Oh, I guess this is a ploy to get Taker out there." In the meantime, and Taker comes out, spinebuster to him by Lesnar. I wrote Paul Heyman is just great. Lesnar looks strong. Cast to Heyman. Heyman bust open. Then it's just back and forth, and Taker fucking hits Lesnar on a goddamn on the mat. He flops like a little fucking dog. I don't know. Basically, that's the end of the angle. That's the few weeks headed into the match, and I tried looking up the match. I can't see. I mean, you could look up the highlights. You could probably look up the highlights. I mean, I remember seeing the match itself. It was always one of my favorites. Hell in a Cell match. I recommend go to it, but I'm just talking about the story today, and that's the story behind Brock Lesnar and Undertaker. A lot of mumbling. I'm sorry if that was confusing, but basically, in conclusion, I'd like to say that I liked the ECW ripoff crap. I know I said, oh, this is a bad blah 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 blah, but I liked the incorporation of the drama. Paul Heyman was great on the mic. He was a great actor back in the day. Even Stephanie, she was a great foil to the show. She was sexy as hell back then. Goddamn, I'd love to be Triple H. Taker, I mean, I don't know why he was. I guess he was just building. I mean, Taker really didn't get anything out of it, and really, Taker kind of slid down the card really for the next few years. I mean, he really didn't. He kind of meant less and less to the show. I guess in 2004 he kind of meant something to the show when he went back to the old gimmick, but him as Mean Mark really never meant anything, in my opinion. From after this, he kind of went down. After this, Lesnar just kept going up and up and up. After soon later was his face turn, and then soon after was his Royal Rumble win, the WrestleMania performance. Then a year later, he was out of the company already, so maybe Lesnar was a flash in the pan his first run, but he came back and he's had a decade of dominance since, so that's on with that. So please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'm out.